For basic math, Excel is actually easier than using a calculator. In this video, we're making a shift from learning how Excel looks and behaves to actually making Excel do work for you. I'll show you how basic math formulas work, adding, subtracting, multiplying, and dividing, and how cell references let your calculations update automatically. Just some real and useful math. Let's set sail. First, we're going to talk about what a formula actually is. And I'm going to start by typing 2 plus 2 in this first cell. And I'm going to press enter, and you see it accepted it as literally 2 plus 2. And it's not doing any math on this, even though it looks like a math problem. It's just keeping it as text and showing you 2 plus 2. To tell Excel that it's a formula, we start with an equal sign, and we can type the exact same thing and press enter. And you see it calculated 2 plus 2 and displays the result 4 in the cell. And in the formula bar, you can see what you actually entered, which is equals 2 plus 2. The equal sign is what tells Excel to do math, not just keep it as text. Now we're going to look at the basic math operators in Excel, and they're probably about what you might expect. For addition, we're going to do equals 10 plus 5. And in the first example, I put a space between the plus and the numbers. You don't have to do that. So I'm just going to do equals 10 plus 5. And you see it returns 15 and shows you exactly what I typed in the cell. 10 plus 5 equals 10 plus 5. Subtraction is also probably what you would expect. You use a dash or a minus sign. 10 equals 10 minus 5. Press enter, and it returns 5. And again, it shows you in the formula bar. 10 equals 10 minus 5. Multiplication is very similar. In Excel, we use asterisk, shift 8, if you're looking for it on your keyboard. And we press enter, and you see it multiplies 10 times 5 and gives you 50. And then finally, division. We do equals 10, a slash for division, divided by 5, and you get the answer 2. Excel also follows standard math order of operations, so multiplication will happen before addition. So we're going to do another example. Quick, we're going to do 10 plus 5 times 2. And you see the result is 20. So it takes 5 times 2, which is 10, and adds 10 to it. And again, you can see that up here in the formula bar. It also will follow parentheses. You know, we do parentheses first if we include them. So we're going to do open parentheses, 10 plus 5 times 2. Oh, you see what I did? That wouldn't have worked. I did not have the equal sign. And so it takes 10, adds 5, so 15 times 2. It does the parentheses first and then multiplies by 2. Normal order of operations from math, parentheses, multiplication, and division, addition, then addition and subtraction. So for any of these, I have already shown you, you can see what you typed in the formula bar. So this is what it's calculating. This is the calculation it's doing. And you see in the cell, you see the result. You may occasionally run into Excel giving you an error if you try to have it do math that it can't do. And we're going to divide by 0. So 10 divided by 0 is not defined. It can't do that calculation. So when I press enter, it's going to give me this error. And this specific error just is telling us that it can't divide by 0. And we have our alert box, and it says divide by 0 error. So it can't divide by 0, and it's telling you it can't divide by 0. I'm just going to label this as divide by 0 error. So if you see this, this or anything with a hash at the beginning, there is probably a mistake up here in your formula. or you're trying to do some kind of math that Excel or even a calculator would not be able to do. I want to also show you that you can use decimal numbers, of course, in these formulas, any number really. And so 100 times 0.07, and it displays the result, 7, just like you would expect. If I want to change this 0.07 to 0.06 and press enter, I have to go back into the cell, into the formula, and edit the formula. The thing that makes spreadsheets flexible and powerful is that you don't have to type the numbers directly like this. You can have data or type a number in one cell and a number in a second cell. And Excel and other spreadsheets have cell references, so we can point to other cells and get the information out of them. So this formula is going to look at B14 and multiply it by B15. And the result is 7, just like you saw a moment ago. And if I decide I want that to be 0.06 instead of 0.07, I just change one cell and it changes the calculation in this formula cell automatically. And this is where Excel starts doing real work for you. We're going to build a real example of how we can make Excel do work for us. But before we do that, I want to start with a blank new Excel page. And to do that, first I want to show you that at the bottom, Excel has pages shown as tabs. Right now we just have one tab. And if I click this plus button, it adds a second tab, a blank worksheet, and we can start fresh. And you can switch back just by clicking on the first tab. And I can click back to the second tab and go back and forth between them. Excel also has a zoom feature. And I can click plus and zoom in a little bit to make everything a little bit bigger. You can zoom out as well with this minus button. And that just makes things easier to read and easier to deal with depending on what you're looking at in your sheet. I'm making it bigger just so that it's easier to work with for us today. I'm going to build a very simple sales tax and tip calculator. So I'm going to give it a name. So I remember what it is. And below that, I'm going to have a subtotal, a tax rate, a tax amount, and a total. And we're just going to start there. Expand this out. Oop, I don't want to quite make it that big. Okay. And so we're going to put a total in here. Maybe we're just going to make these nice round numbers. 50. And the tax rate is, you know what? I'm going to type this as a percent, 7%. And now we get to tax amount. You could calculate the tax on $50, 7% of $50, or we can type in a formula and say, because the tax amount is really the subtotal here times the tax rate. And that tells you that the tax amount is $3.50. And now we also want to calculate the new total. So we equals the subtotal plus the tax amount. Press enter. And now we have the total bill with tax. We're going to expand this a little bit and add a tip amount. So we're going to say tip rate and tip amount and grand total. So we're going to say our tip rate is 20%. And we can figure out the tip by clicking on the total after our taxes times the tip rate. And so our tip is going to be $10.70, which is 20% of $53.50. And the final total, grand total with tip and tax, is the total that we had with tax plus the tip, and you get $64.20. All the same math that we did on sheet 1, but now it's chained together and makes something actually useful. And because I'm building something useful, I'm just going to do a little bit of quick formatting, because this is a real world example and we would want things to look a little bit nice and neat and pretty. Let's see, put bold on the header. I'm going to make all of these right justified. Can select this one. I'm going to make it dollars. These are also dollars. And these are dollars. It's looking pretty good. One other thing I like to do, especially when I have totals, Excel has a border for that. You can do either top and thick bottom or top and double bottom. I usually do the top and double bottom just to show that I've totaled something. And so I've done that for both of these. That is it. We now have a simple sales tax and tip calculator. Now, again, because these are all formulas, if the total was now $75.26, everything cascades down and all of the totals get updated. So the important things to remember are Excel formulas start with an equal sign, and it will follow normal math rules. And by using these cell references, we are not stuck typing all of these details in every time. It automatically updates as we change things. If you can write these formulas, you can build real spreadsheets and do real actual work. Until next time, I wish you smooth sailing.